Hello everyone, welcome to Microprocessor 8085 lecture series. Today we will be starting with the organization of a microprocessor based system. So this is a block diagram of a microprocessor based system. It has a few components, like the first is the microprocessor itself, then the input output, the system bus and the memory. These are the four components which make up the microprocessor system. The first is the microprocessor itself. So microprocessor has first of all the ALU, which is called as the arithmetic logic unit. So this unit of the microprocessor is responsible for performing various arithmetic and logic operations. Then we have the register array. Okay, so there are many number of registers in the microprocessor. These registers, they are used to store the information temporarily, and more the number of register, more is the advantage. So registers, they are used to store the data, and registers, they are the fastest available memories because they are inside the microprocessor. Then we have the control unit. Control unit is responsible for providing various timing and control operations. So this is the control unit. Then we have the system bus. Okay, system bus is used to connect the various components of the microprocessor based system. So bus means it is a collection of wire. We don't have a single wire running from microprocessor to the peripherals, but there is a collection of wires. More than one wire are used. Okay, and generally the system bus refers to address bus, data bus, and control bus. These three buses, they make up the system bus. So they are used to connect the microprocessor to the peripherals. Then we have this input output. Okay, here we have the input output. There can be varieties of inputs and outputs. So of course input, they are used to put the data into the microprocessor, or instructions to give the instructions to the microprocessor and give the data to the microprocessor. Then we have the output. So whatever output we get from the microprocessor, they can be displayed, or they can be put to the output. Okay, there can be various types of output devices. Then we have the memory. Okay, memory is used to store the instructions, store the data. So here we have two types of memory. One is the raw memory. Generally this memory is called read-only memory, means what we cannot change. Okay, but there are some types of memory where we can also change that the things. Okay, the data. And here we have the read-write memory. This memory is also called as the RAM, or we can say the scratch pad memory. So these are the various components of the microprocessor based system. Now for programming any of the microprocessor based systems, we can do it by using any of the three languages. The first is the machine language, assembly language, or a high level language. And let us see them one by one. So what about for the first choice, what we have is regarding the machine language. So machine language means the language which is directly understood by the system. Okay, this is the machine language. So this is the language which is directly understood by the system. Okay, like of zeros and ones. Okay, so in case we want to write any of the instruction, any of the data, we write in terms of zeros and ones. Okay, it may be a series of 0 1 1 0 and so on, any number of zeros and ones. This is the instruction, or this can be a data. Then the second choice is by using assembly language. Okay, this is the second choice. We can use assembly language. Now assembly language is we write some mnemonics, of course, and then convert those mnemonics into some type of a code. Like I will just write this MV. If I write this instruction MVIA, okay, comma 13H. Okay, so this is one of the mnemonic. Okay, then I can convert this mnemonic to a hexadecimal code, like the code for MVIA, maybe it is 3E. Okay, then I can define this is 13. Okay, so this is the what we can enter into the system. Now this is the called as the mnemonic. Okay, we can write the program in this mnemonic, and instead of entering the instructions or the data in zeros and ones, we will enter in terms of this hexadecimal notation when we are programming in 8085. Okay, there are some assemblers available in which we can directly write this code. We can just directly write this assembly language, this mnemonics, and it will generate the hexadecimal code and also generate the binary code. So if we compare this to, this one is a little bit easier as compared to the machine language. Okay, then we'll also see one example for that. Then in the case of high level language, okay, now the example of a high level language is, we can say, the Java programming, the C++. Okay, this all which we are using now, they are the examples of like C++. Then we have Java. Okay, so this languages, they are, these are the example of high level languages. Okay, so these are very powerful languages. Okay, and many functions, many libraries are available in these languages. Okay, we can write a varieties of programs. Okay, easily. Okay, let us see one example where we can compare these three languages, like the machine language, the assembly language, and the high level, and we'll understand how much difficult it is to write the program in a machine language as compared to assembly language. And of course high level language, it is much easier, much simple, it is easy to understand. Okay, because it is written in very simple English words, and compiler is available, we can easily find the errors. In case of assembly language, when we want to convert this particular code into machine language, we need an assembler. Okay, of course machine only understands zeros and ones. When we write the code in this machine language, we don't need any we don't need any converter. But when we are writing the code in assembly language, then we need an assembler. The assembler will convert our assembly code into machine language. And when we are writing the code in this high level programming high level language, then of course we need a compiler. So compiler, it converts the high level code to machine level code. Now we'll see how to write a simple program. If you want to add, let's suppose we want to add two numbers. So what is the high level code, what is the assembly language code, and what is the machine level code for writing the same program? So I want to add this number. Suppose I want to add 5 with 4. Okay, I want to add these two numbers 5 and 4. I have to add this 5 and 4. Okay. So what is the high level code in this case is, I'll just write high level here. Okay, so high level code is, of course I can take a variable a, and I can just take 5 4, and this is done. Okay, this is the very simple case. Now suppose I want to write the assembly language code. Okay, let us assume that we are using 8085 assembly language. Okay, so assembly language code for 8085, I will just take mvi a. So I will store 5 in a, and then I can store 4 in b, and then add b, and then halt. So this is the 8085 assembly language. Okay, or mnemonics for adding two numbers. There are of course other ways to do this, the same thing. Then finally we will see what is the machine language, what is the machine level code for the same particular whatever code we have written assembly language. So mvia is of course 3e, then 05, then we have mvib is 06. Now we don't need to worry how I got this code. I'm just displaying, just showing, try to showing what the assembly language code would look like, how the what the structure of this particular machine code would be. So this is actually 0. Then add b is 1 0 0 0 and 0 0 0 0 and 7 6. So here we are seeing the three programs. The high level, of course high level is, as we can see, it is much easier, just one step. In case of assembly language, we need to write a few steps just for adding purpose. Okay, and machine level, you can see there are so many number of zeros, so many number of ones. Now it is easier to anybody to understand this high level code, what we are doing. It is a very simple code. Assembly language is little bit tricky, but machine level is, of course it is impossible to understand what is going on. And in case of high level code, we can easily find the error, we can easily debug the program. In assembly language it is little bit difficult as compared to high level, when we want to decode, debug the program. But in case of machine language, imagine if somebody says there is a mistake, there is an error in one bit. Okay, it would be too much difficult to find that particular bit. But here in these two cases, we can say we can easily find the error. Okay, so generally we write the program either in high level language or any other assembly language, so that it becomes easier for us to write the programs. Okay, next we see the different types of computers. So we start with you can see the large computers. So what are large computers? These are large general purpose multi-user multitasking systems which are designed for complex scientific and engineering calculations. So these are actually multi-users. Multi-users means what? At a time we can many different users can log in at a time, and multitasking means what? It can perform many tasks at a time. Okay. And this large computers, they are used for extremely complex scientific calculations and engineering calculations. Okay. They are classified in two types. One is the mainframe computers and other is supercomputers. So mainframe, they are the high speed computers which are capable of handling all types of peripherals and a large number of users. Okay, they can handle large number of users. Then as we know, supercomputers, they are the fastest computers available. Okay, so they have a very high performance and they are very high speed computers, and of course they are the fastest available computers, and they can execute billions of instructions in 1 second. Then we have next is the medium sized computers. So these medium sized computers, they were designed to meet the needs of small factories, small colleges, and for applications such as accounting and payroll. They were also called as mini computers. Okay, and the speed of this medium sized computers, they were less as compared to mainframe systems, and they had they had less memory as compared to the mainframe systems. So mainframes, they were very expensive, and medium sized, they were less expensive. Then comes the microcomputers. Now with the advent of 4 and 8 bit microprocessor after 1970s, there was a decline in the cost of microprocessor and of course memory also. So almost all the applications, they became microprocessor oriented. Okay, so during 1970s and 1974s, we had 8085 microprocessor, then 8086 and so on. Okay, so with this the systems became very much smaller, they became very much cheap as compared to the older systems, and we can classify this microcomputers into four types. First is the personal computers. Okay, so personal computers, they were not multi-user, they were single user, but they were multitasking. Okay, and they were comparatively cheaper as compared to the workstation, this other computers, which we have discussed up. And we had workstations. Okay, and we had single board microcomputers. Okay, single board microcomputers, they had all the functionality, they had the microprocessor chip and all the other supporting circuits available on the board itself. Okay, and microprocessor was one of the primary component, and apart from the microprocessor, other circuits were also there in that particular board. Like for example, we can have 8085 microprocessor board, okay, which is also available. Then we have single chip microcomputer, that is called as microcontrollers. So 8051, one of the microcontroller which was manufactured by Intel. Okay, the difference between microprocessor and microcontroller is that microcontroller, they have inbuilt ports, and they have inbuilt RAM, ROM, timers, etc. So this microcontroller, they are used in embedded systems. Okay, embedded systems. Okay, and there are also of course many other applications of microcontroller and as well as microprocessor. Okay, so that's all for this session. In the next session, we'll be learning more about 8085 microprocessor, the instructions, the architecture of 8085. Thanks for watching.